Today we're in a really nice shaded front yard. The only problem with the big shade trees is they have prevented the grass from growing in this area. So the homeowners landscaped. They added plants and pumice stones to cover the ground, and then they built this cobblestone style pathway and tinted it red to complement the pumice stones. So what we're going to do today is extend this pathway to the other side of the yard where they're having the same problem. Now on this side of the yard, there's the mud problem every time it rains. The homeowners have brought their pathway to this point, and we're going to extend it on around the corner. This looks like cobblestone, but actually it's made out of concrete poured into a form. This is a cobblestone form, but there are other patterns available at your local hardware stores or home center. This is a brick pattern that will give you a completely different look. What we're going to do is mix 1 bag of concrete and 1 box of colored tint per form. We're using a red tint, but there are other colors available if you want to tint your pathway. Now the first step is to prepare the concrete. Now you can mix your concrete in a wheelbarrow, and for every bag of concrete you need to mix 1 gallon of water. But for about $60, I've rented this electric mixer just to help the project go a lot faster. Now once you've shoveled in about half of your bag of concrete, you'll need to add half a gallon of water. Once you've got the water in, this is a good time to add the full box of tint. Now, while this is mixing up, you can add the rest of your concrete and the rest of the water, and then this batch is ready. All right, we've let this mix for just a couple of minutes, and this consistency is just about perfect. So the next step is to start shoveling this into the form. Now we've mixed this up just a little bit stiff, so it won't take very long to dry. Don't worry about filling in all of the holes at first. Just dump it on your form and then use a masonry trowel to pack it in each hole. What you want to do once you've got it into the form is just pack it into each compartment like this. And it's really easy to work with. Just take the trowel, pack it in, and then you kind of want to smooth it. I'm patting it like this, and it's bringing the moisture to the top, and what that's going to do is just give it a smooth surface once it's dry. And hey, if your kids are standing around, they're probably going to want to help with this project because it's almost like making mud pies. They might want to even put their handprints in there. Now, as you're smoothing this around, if you feel like when you're almost finished that you have too much excess left over, that's okay. Just shovel some up, put it back in the mixer, and you can use it in the next batch. Actually, this is looking pretty good. I'm just making sure it's all pretty uniform. I've got a little crack right there, so I'm just going to scoot some of this over, fill that in, smooth it down, and then when I'm finished, I'm going to let this sit. You want to let it sit up for at least 10 minutes to start drying, and that'll give us plenty of time to go mix up the next batch. Okay, well we've got our next batch of concrete mixed up and ready to go, so now what we have to do is remove this form. Now this is a fairly easy process. All the way around the form are tabs on the outside. So I'm just going to use these tabs to lift this form straight up, just like that, and then I'm turning this form 90 degrees, so when we pour our next batch of concrete, it just changes up our pattern a little bit. Now what we have to do is just a little touch-up work around the edges where our form was. So I'm going to take the trowel, just going to kind of roll it in and smooth it out, just like that. And I'm going to do each one and just keep using the trowel to fix this right up. Okay, once you have all of the form lines smoothed out on each stone, it's time to fill the next form. All right, now we have a couple of these done, and it's time for us to begin to make this curve around the edging. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this one as a guide and just kind of draw a line in the sand right around like this, just so we can keep the same amount of distance around the edging. But again, it's your pathway, it doesn't have to be perfect. So let me take this up using the tabs, and it just pulls right up. Also, I'm going to turn it again to get the 90-degree turn, so we keep changing our pattern. Except this time, instead of setting the form along this edge here, I'm actually going to move it up where I've drawn my line in the sand And then I'm going to move it over and set it inside some of these stones so that we keep a nice continuous pathway. So what you want to do is just press this down as much as you can with your hand into some of these stones, and then you'll have to use your foot the rest of the way. And we're just going to do this one just like we've done the others, and as soon as we're finished with this one, we'll just keep laying forms and go on around this curve. All right, that's it. We're done. We've brought the pathway all the way to the edge of the grass, and this was really a fun, easy do-it-yourself project.